energy costs rise, staying cool a growing challenge for low-income Americans. Today on Here's the Scoop. Today's article comes from CBS News, and it's talking about something that's kind of affecting a lot of us, right? Energy costs. And they keep going up and up and up, and a lot of people can't afford these energy cost prices, their HVAC prices, electricity prices, everything is going up, gas, oil, everything, okay? And so we're going to dive into it. It says in Dallas, Texas, Angela Harmon and her grandson Leo headed out on a hot day in Dallas, Texas to a neighborhood store that is run by their church. It's where they keep cool because running Harmon's air conditioner at home is more than she can afford. So how many of you guys are going to like a third party place, coffee shop, or someplace like a library just because to keep cool? Like you cannot run your air conditioner. You cannot afford that bill. Let me know in the comments if this is you. She said, quote, "It's costly, it's expensive, and I have to juggle to pay it," Harmon told CBS News, disclosing that her daughter sometimes has to assist her in paying her electricity bills. So how many of you guys are having to call family members or friends to help you pay your bills? It sounds crazy, but these are signs of the times. They're not cutting back on any of our gas or electric cost, but they're cutting back on our paychecks. It doesn't make sense, but it's not supposed to, right? That's what we're dealing with today. Quote, "Many of our community members are very, very low income," said Chris Simmons, Harmon's pastor at Cornerstone Baptist Church. Quote, "Many of them, if they have added health conditions, may not survive," Simmons said of his congregants who cannot afford air conditioning. Quote, "They may not survive." So we have global warming, we got climate change, and it's hotter and hotter. And a lot of these people, literally, if they cannot run that AC and if they have health conditions, they can die in their house. And get this, to pay her utility bills last year, Harmon relied on the federal government's low-income home energy assistance program, a utility assistance program through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that serves more than 6 million Americans. And that's great. Wow, that's great. That was helping a lot of Americans that are low income, which is many, right? But President Trump's budget proposal for the 2026 fiscal year would eliminate this a low-income home energy assistance program called LIHEAP. Let me know how you guys feel about that. In a statement provided to CBS News, a spokesperson for the White House's Office of Management and Budget called LIHEAP a failed program that is also mired in fraud. For example, thousands of, quote, dead people and hundreds of prisoners have received funding. Further, LIHEAP disproportionately funds states like California, whose green new scam policies drive up home energy prices. Well, guys, there's no real evidence here. A lot of people, they say things, but where is the proof? Where is the paperwork? That's what it's all about, right? The paperwork. If you go into a court of law and a lawyer says that something is failed and it's mired in fraud, and they tell you there's examples of thousands of dead people and hundreds of prisoners receiving something, the lawyer, if they don't have the actual paperwork to prove this, the proof, right, then they're going to lose that case. So it seems like the government and the current administration, there's lots of things that they want to cut. And of course, they have to have an excuse to cut it when it comes to cutting things for the same people, many of these people that voted for this administration. But is this real, right? Where is the proof of this? These dead people. Not saying that it's not real. It could be real, but don't you want proof? Especially when you have something that's helping 6 million Americans. That's not a drop in the bucket. It's not like 300,000 or even a million. So the White House would leave it to the states to pay for and administer their own utility assistance, the spokesperson added. So you might think, oh, I live in a great state. Right? I live in a state that takes care of the people very well. I'm sure they'll do the right thing. But will they? And how many states are going to do the right thing in general versus wanting to save money for the state to pad people's pockets at the top, the governors, the senators, maybe some of the mayors, etc.? I mean, this is where we're living. This is the reality. So Andrew Dessler, a professor of atmospheric sciences at Texas A&M University, studies the impact of climate change on consumers. His research has determined that climate change is increasing the cost of electricity. All right, so this is, guys, a professor of atmospheric sciences at Texas, not a northern university, because I think this matters to some people that are listening. Texas A&M University, and he is saying out of his mouth, right, this professional, that climate change is increasing the cost of our electricity. Meanwhile, the current administration is deciding this is a failed program. This program that was helping 6 million Americans save money on their energy prices. It's a failed program. It's mired in fraud. So you know what? Instead of just like fixing the failed program, we're going to completely eliminate the failed program. And we're just going to give it to the states and they should do what's right. Right? Maybe. Maybe not. According to his research, between the summers of 2023 and 2024, climate change increased wholesale electricity costs by an average of 35% in the New England region, 30% in California, 20% in Texas, and 17% in New York. And according to the latest Consumer Price Index from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, electricity costs rose 5.5% in July compared to 1 year ago. Dressler said that when temperatures are very hot and demand peaks, the cost of electricity can surge, and those extra costs eventually get passed along to consumers. Quote, you can directly draw the line from humans emitting greenhouse gases to the atmosphere increases the temperature. That means people have to run their air conditioner more. Makes sense. One bright spot Dressler found was solar power. He said it is the cheapest form of energy and can help push down prices. But he is concerned consumers will be hurt by Trump's administration policies that have slashed renewable projects in favor of higher cost oil and natural gas. So guys, what's happening here is that the oil bigwigs and the natural gas bigwigs, big oil, we might call it, like, you know, big chicken, big pharma, big sugar, big oil. These are monopolized industries that are only controlled by a very few amount of people in America. So you might say to yourself, they clearly have some kind of deal going on where they don't want to invest in solar power right now. I believe in the future they will, but right now, why mess up a good thing? Oil and gas works, right? And so they want to keep that going. They don't want to have to change and invest new money in solar power because basically they would have to invest a lot of money to change their whole industry into solar and leave oil and gas. And that's a lot of money they don't want to put out unless they absolutely have to. So they're lobbying, right, to this administration that's currently in charge. And they're getting what they want. Right? But in turn, people in America, we're going to have to pay more for electricity because of this, because these oil bigwigs basically, they don't want these benefits. They don't want solar. They don't want us to save money. They want to make money off of us not saving money. So this is what's happening. Quote, it is going to make things much, much worse. Dressler said it's going to be much more expensive as temperatures rise. Energy costs are set to go up with them. It's on my mind every day, Harmon said. So again, we've got Dressler. This is a professor of atmospheric sciences at Texas, not a northern state, because we know that matters to some people. And he is basically saying, hey, climate change is real. It's increasing the cost of electricity, and this current administration has slashed all benefits that will help us pay for these extra air conditioning costs, electricity costs, and also they have slashed policies that are for renewable projects like solar power in favor of higher cost oil and natural gas. So here is the evidence. But I want to know, what do you guys think about this? How do you feel about this? Do you feel like this is all a lie because it comes from CBS News? Or do you feel like this is truth? They're giving the proof here. And you can also read these news stories on many other websites. The same news story, you can read this on many other websites. Do you feel the squeeze? Do you see your energy costs rising? Right? And how are you making sense of it? How are you able to pay for it? Are you cutting back on your air conditioning? Are you cutting back on turning your lights on all the time? Let me know below in the comments what you guys think about this article. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.